Alright folks, what is up? This is One Big Bug and I am coming at you with Euro Truck Simulator 2. And no video yesterday. I apologize for that. I actually thought I was going to be consistent this week, but just to be honest with you, my wife and I, we had an argument. The stress of everything that's been going on lately had probably finally caught up with us. And by the time everything had settled down, it was just too late for me to record. So, you know, things happen. Confined house, stressful time. It was bound to happen eventually. But everything's cool now, everything's okay, and we're ready to go. Now, our goal for today is to finish this run. We have very, very slightly under 700 kilometers to go. Oh, right. And I really feel that we can do that. And I, of course, was mistaken when I mentioned our engine. It's actually a 600 horsepower, I believe, we got in here now. So, you know, where horsepower does play kind of it does play kind of a role in trucks. When it comes to big rigs, it's really not so much about the horsepower. It's really not. It's much more about the torque. How much torque the truck can put down. Because torque, we're already going too fast. Torque translates to power. You know, it translates to pull. How much pull you'll get, how much oomph you have to get going with. And again, we're already going too fast. Oh, damn it. There we go. On cruise control. I think the reason I get these little hitches instead of the big ones like I used to is, like I said, number one, my files are no longer compressed. I moved them to a different drive, and sadly I don't think I can move them back, which I found hilarious, because I actually wanted to move them to another drive. The drive I moved them to is the emptiest drive I have, but I forgot to pay attention, and the drive I moved them to is a really old, to be honest with you, drive. And I mean old hard drive. In terms of computers, it's an antique. It comes from, gosh, it's got to be like 10 years now, 10 or more years. It's a simple 160 gig hard drive from a Dell computer that I bought a while back, and I don't even remember where I got the computer from. I just know it was a Dell Alienware computer at the time, and actually it was pretty good. It was a good computer, and of course it was back when Dell was really, really popular, and Dell was really popular at the time. And they were kind of like the king of computers. Nowadays, it's, you know, more about having a custom computer than just owning a Dell. But that may be the problem, because of the drive speed, maybe. Because, like I said, it's old, and I should really probably defrag it. There's really very little on it, so it's never needed defragging, but since I moved all this stuff, then again, it could be the fact that the computer could look to the C drive for the files and then gets redirected to the E drive. And then when that happens, wow, you better get rolling, car. And then gets redirected to where it is, which is on an older drive. But I noticed I don't get, whereas I may get like these little tiny kind, you know, hiccups. I don't get the big ones anymore. I don't get the big loading hiccups anymore. You know, where the game actually just like locks or the frames like hugely bogged down. Um, you know, where I'll be running at like 45 frames and it'll tank down to 20 something as it loads in. So it's a bonus. Plus, I've got spare room on my C drive now. I was literally down to 3 gigabytes, and now I've got about 10, which is good. You know, because my C drive is meant for nothing more than to run my OS. There's really nothing else to be on it. It's meant to run my OS, but mods take up a lot of room. Certain mods take up a lot of room, and that was taking up a lot of room on my drive, was, as I mentioned before, my trailer mods and whatnot. So anyways, I got off track. You know, I was talking about rigs. When you're talking about cars, you know, if you want a good high-speed car, you tend to talk more about horsepower. But if you want to launch off the line, if you want that hard start, you know, you want to get that jump off the start and get ahead of everyone, you know, whoa, did you see that? I don't know, the steering just feels extra sensitive today, and I think that's because I didn't play yesterday. I don't know. It just feels really extra sensitive. So anyways, if you want that launch off the line, if you want that pull power, you know, it even applies to cars. It's all about the torque. And that's the kind of man I am, and that's why I like trucks. I like, you know, pickup trucks. I don't know if it'll give me a ticket or not, but I caught that speed camera. I probably would have gotten a ticket. I was probably fine, but I really can't tell. There are times it seems like I'm going under the last speed limit I saw, but I still get a ticket. So I really don't know. But anyways, I should really just move it over because it looks like we're swapping highways, or we're just getting off the road here. I saw the speed limit for 80. I actually saw the warning signs this time. Normally I wouldn't stay behind a car like this, but you know, but that's just the kind of guy I am. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't like jacked up pickup trucks with big tires. Unless it's a monster truck. You know, I used to watch monster trucks a lot. I really don't anymore, but that doesn't mean I still don't. Okay. You know, I still like monster trucks. I'm like any other, you know, guy out there. And that's not to say all guys like monster trucks, but I find that most guys actually like monster trucks. And I do, you know, I know the names of some of the more famous monster trucks. You know, of course, everyone knows Bigfoot, who they call the king of the monster trucks. Basically, he was the most recognizable original. I don't know, you know, who really started out monster trucks, what the whole thing is behind it, but Bigfoot is obviously the most popular, most recognizable in terms of monster trucks. You know, it just became the home name. And then I remember Bigfoot's greatest rival at one time was Barefoot, B-E-A-R foot, not B-A-R-E, Barefoot. So you had Bigfoot and Barefoot. And then, of course, you have the probably most popular monster truck today, known for his wild rides, would be Gravedigger. I also remember the monster truck that revolutionized monster truck racing. You know, monster trucks used to be, they used to bounce around a lot. You really didn't get them airborne. They weren't very high technical, and you know, you couldn't go fast if you know, like I said, they just bounced, and they had more generalized suspensions and whatnot. And that truck was known as the Equalizer. I remember the season that he came in, and of course he just beat every other monster truck. He beat down Bigfoot, Barefoot, and all that. He beat down all of those monster trucks. You know, Awesome Kong and whatnot. Because he had this whole revolutionary suspension where he could just gun it, and the truck would level out. It wouldn't bounce all over the place and all that. And I remember that the drivers were pissed off because oops, the drivers were yeah, I had it right. The monster truck drivers were pissed off because here comes this guy with all this new technology, and he just beats everyone else down. And you know, they allowed it, they okayed that. So the very next season, all trucks had it, and they've been refined ever since to make monster trucks what they are today, and allowed like Bigfoot to set a world jumping record when he jumped over. You know, one of the drivers took one of the Bigfoot monster trucks and jumped over like a 747, was it? Ooh, ooh, Apparently I forgot how to make a normal corner. Yeah, I was going a little too fast. I throttled a little too hard on that corner. What's the issue, guys? That was weird. Yeah, I remember all that. And, you know, I used to watch mud racing and tractor pulls and truck pulls. ESPN and ESPN2. You know. But getting back to my original subject, you know, I've always liked pickup trucks, and I've always been a fan of diesel engines. You know, there's nothing wrong with having a gas engine in a truck, but I always believe that a good, solid pickup truck has a diesel motor, you know, diesel power. And I've always wanted like a 1-ton truck, 3/4-ton truck, just a heavy workaholic truck, but you know, that never came to pass, which isn't terrible. Yeah, though, in all due fairness, plus I'm being a little psycho with my driving here. A little squirrely at the end, but we actually did it. We made it past all of them. I don't know why I'm driving like this right now. I really shouldn't be. I think I really just want to make sure that I don't get slowed down too much so I can make this delivery on this episode. That's really what I want to do. As you can see, we're down to 2,000 euros right now, so we really got to make this delivery. I'm going way too fast. I still try to hold to my 110. Usually on the back roads, I try to keep it around 90. But you know, here's hoping. God, I thought I saw a car. No. Now I do. All right. All right. We're good. We're good. That's just how I've always been. I've always dreamed and fantasized about having a big old truck. Just like I said, a 1-ton 3-wheel, but all like decked out with straight pipes. Just turned into this like really, uh, basically a fanatic's truck. Especially if I could have gotten my hands on a truck with dualies on them. The dual wheels on the back, one of those trucks. Oh man, that would have been the bomb right there for me. I would have been the happiest person in the world. But sadly, I've never owned a large pickup truck. I've owned a few small ones, and they were all really good. The closest I got to owning something like that was a 1980, 85, 87 Dodge 350 or 1-ton van. The big stretch vans. And at the time, I had, money. I was working for a large security firm, the security job, and I had money, And so I did a lot of work on this van. I suppose looking back, if I thought then, rather, what I think now, I would have gone with, I probably would have gone with a diesel engine. But back then I was trying to accomplish, I was a reckless kid. I was about 19 at the time, 20. And I was just making money, and I lived in a good area to get parts and stuff. We had a junkyard a couple miles up the road from me, and I was friends with the owner. And I managed to get this old this old Dodge 440 engine, and I shoehorned it into. Oh, and it was a 440 Hemi, by the way. It wasn't, it was a Hemi. And I shoehorned it into the van along with a 6-barrel carburetor. Yeah, 6-barrel carburetor, not 4, 6. Sorry about that. I didn't realize my truck was getting so off track. I had to, it was a good time to reset, and it may be a good time to reset again as I'm getting... What the hell was that? Jeez. What the hell was that? He was on the wrong side of the road, and then he just pulls back in front of me, and I barely managed to stop in time. Yes. Anyways, yeah, I forget what the carburetor was called back then, but they came off Dodge muscle cars. Most notably was the Dodge Challenger. And my van was, after all the work I had done on it, was just insane. I even had a 5-speed standard transmission in it. Just all the stuff I did. I just, thanks to my dad, I knew people, mechanics and whatnot. I just happened to know people, and working for the security firm that I was working for, I was making a lot of money, and I was just able to put everything together. And this van looked, and well, it didn't so much look insane, but it just like was insane. It was funny and fun to get up on the road, to get up on the highway, and you start racing. And back then, um, although I suppose it was always like this, but back then, you'd race. The popular car at the time when I started doing this was the Mustang 5.0, and just to get on the highway and start racing one, you know, and I could easily just hold him neck and neck, just easily, and then, once you're getting up to speed, you can almost feel the guy, because the van was still tall, even though I had lowered it considerably for aerodynamics and stability. It was still a van, and you could feel the guy looking at you like, what the hell? And and the next thing you do, and the next thing he hears is the engine revs go up as you drop a gear and floor it, and you just burn away from him like he's standing still. It was hilarious, man. I almost got caught really bad in that van one time. I was in a really bad mood. I have no idea what put me in that mood. Do I get a ticket? Probably not. I shouldn't. The speed limit says 120. But I just know I was in this really foul, terrible mood, and I got up on the road and I was just flying it. I don't know how fast I was going. I wasn't paying attention, but I was pretty close to maxed out, just roaring down the highway. And from where I live, I realized that I had reached, and this is at the time I lived in Massachusetts, in and around the Kingston, Plymouth area. I had reached the Cape Cod Bridge. I'd reached the rotary that leads to the bridge, and I realized, ooh, I need to turn around and go home. And so I went around the rotary, and I started back home. And the next thing I see on the highway, just police lights come flying up the road and just shoo, 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 right by me. 3 of them flying up the road. And all I could do was like hunker way down in my seat and pray that they didn't pray that it wasn't me, although I had this real feeling that it was. Now, for anyone who's asking, and I know this sounds outrageous, but whether you believe it or not, it's true. It was my van and I loved it. If you want to know how fast the van could go, with the right tires and with a little luck, I really could just squeeze it under 9 seconds in the quarter mile. The right tires, I mean, I had to put on big ass slicks, and there was all kinds of stuff that had to be done. I had, people helping me. It started becoming a real project, and then I ended up getting cut from the firm, and I really just couldn't keep up with the demands on it anymore. I started to feel like, I really don't want to drive this fast. And that's kind of where my I want to be in the lap of luxury started, I suppose, because from my van I went on to a 1979 Cadillac DeVille coupe, 2-door. And that car was almost perfect. The only things wrong with it were the front fenders. They had holes rusted through the top. So the front fender was an issue. Front fenders, rather. And the trunk lid. All along the bottom lip of the trunk lid was all rusted out. But otherwise, the car was perfect. The engine, the transmission. Well, no, it wasn't perfect. There were a couple more things wrong with it. Those were a couple of the big things. Another one was is that somebody had installed a sunroof in it. These cars, If they ever came with a sunroof, which I'm pretty sure they didn't, this was not a sunroof that come with the car. So it wasn't installed properly, and it would leak. And the front seat, the upholstery ended up a little weathered. And let's see, was there something else? I think there was one more thing. I just don't recall it off the top of my head. So sadly, I had to go with the sunroof because I couldn't just replace that. You can't just replace the roof of a car as much as, no matter how much you may want to, you just you can't. So I worked with a mechanic friend of mine, and we worked on the leaking, and we resealed it, and we got it to stop leaking. And it was in pretty good shape from there. We replaced the front fenders, replaced the trunk lid. Then I had it sandblasted and repainted, which was just all repainted white. I had the car reupholstered, which was a blue interior, so I kept it blue. I kept it its original colors. Other than that, I didn't have to do anything else. Not a single thing. I didn't have to touch the engine. I didn't have to touch the transmission. It was just some body work. And oh my God, was that car such a dream to drive. So smooth, so calm, so quiet. Oh, you couldn't hear anything in that car. But again, that turned into a project where I had money, and then I ended up not having money because I ended up in a much smaller job, and I just couldn't keep up with the fuel demand of the car, which was a 500 cubic inch 4-barrel carburetor engine. The largest line production engine ever made. Line production engine ever made. 500 cubic inch. Or at least at the time. I don't know. That may have been... It may have been changed. I'm not talking about the time the car came out. I mean when the Dodge Viper had just come out with its 488 cubic inch V12. The 500 cubic inch Cadillac engine was still bigger. And, oh man, just that car. Yeah, but it was the type of car when you drove by a gas station, they sent you a bill. And it came to a point where I just couldn't keep up with that anymore. Still, I bought the car for $400 from a dealer. Just $400. And I sunk maybe $2,500, $3,000 into it at most. And I sold it for almost $10,000. So I made a profit. I need to get over. And then I just owned a bunch of junk cars from there. I never really recovered until recently, where I now have my Toyota Scion XB. And here we are. Oh God, not again. Please, not again. Oh. Why? Why? God, this is so evil. This is just so evil to back in. I don't know if I'm over far enough. At least it's at night and there's not a lot of cars here. No, 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 no. Don't oversteer this. Please don't oversteer this. This is the cleanest back into this area I've ever done. Nice. Nice. Alright, at this point I'm going to start chucking into Econo Drive so that I bring up my fuel efficiency. And then once Econo Drive is full, I will go into ADR and start unlocking those. So, now I can already see a garage from here. And look at that, 43,000 euros. I'm going to go for the exit over here. And honestly, I wasn't paying attention. We kind of just made it. So we've got basically our limit right now. With the truck and being able to circumvent traffic and getting nice smooth highway rolls, it would appear that we can run about 700 kilometers, which is pretty damn good if I'm to be honest with you. My cab is like moving an awful lot. Just feels like it. In the truck. Let's not go too fast in town, yeah? I think that's a safer bet. Around the corner. Here we are. Alright, we're just servicing the truck. I honestly think that there was new, we did level. So, new doorsteps, don't care. New bar, not a big deal. I would like to put a bull bar on here. I don't think we want a 540 horsepower engine. Alright, so let's just take a peek and see what we have. I am not upgrading the cabin yet. I don't have the money for that. Not changing the chassis. Yeah, we got the Euro 5 600, so we don't want a 540. No need to change the paint. Sadly, there's no side skirt on this. And that's really... Oh, I need to cancel this order because it took away my top bar. I don't want to do that. But I would like to put a bull bar on here. And I've got enough to do that. I don't have many options yet. But I've always liked the look of the Champion bull bar, and the Joker's pretty good too. So we'll see how much this runs us. I like the square lights over the round ones. I think they just look more in time with the truck. So that's about 20,000. It's going to be half of what we have. But I think we'll be okay. And, well, who doesn't like a bull bar on their truck? There we go. Alright, so let's get some rest. Sorry, wrong button. It's F4. We have to recheck these because we did changes to our truck. Lights. High beams so we can get a good look. My truck looks like it's lowered and stuff. It's really weird. Why is my axle rolling? I guess it automatically gets set to the down position. There we go. Alright, get our rest. Yeah, look, Driver Charles bringing in some money. So let's see what our job's going to be next. Here. Okay. 3 jobs, all running almost exactly the same prices. We have these Artemis 30s, which are 15 tons. And, okay. So this run I honestly want to skip. 52,496. That extra money is to cover this track here and into Libya. And I'm not sure I want to deal with that. So it really comes down to this Artemis. They both go on the same road. They're both pretty much the exact same price. So it's just, do I want to tow the 15-ton Artemis 30s or the H1 Cobra? Despite the fact that this would be a little bit better experience, we're going to go with one of these. I'm just not sure which one yet. The Cobra would be a great pull because it's so light. It would be almost like we're driving bobtail. And the Artemis trailer wouldn't be that bad either. I'm probably going to go with the Artemis because it's a bigger trailer and I like hauling bigger trailers, but anything's possible. And despite the fact that it kind of goes along the road that we've already been on, it stops at a city that we haven't been to yet, which is here. Paraguay. Or something. No, it's not Paraguay. There's something I'm not going to try and pronounce because I'll just mangle it. So that's going to be it. That's me done for this episode, folks. I hope you've enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoy bringing you. I will try and bring a video on Saturday to make up for the one that I missed, because this is probably, I'm thinking 1,700. This is actually only going to take two trips as well, so I don't know. I'll try and bring something Saturday, but no promises. That's all I can say in truth. But again, with 3 tons and 15 tons, we won't need to put our rear axle down again. So we'll be still running the 4x2 setup. As I was saying, that's going to be me done for this episode, folks. I hope you've enjoyed watching this as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. Until next time, this is going to be One Big Bugger. I'm going to be signing out. And I'll see you then.